Actually, I can let you listen to what I'm listening to, but don't worry, I'll tell you about it in a minute. Hello sewing friends, today's episode is just going to be a bit of fun. You may or may not be aware, but the wonderful Taylor Swift has a new album out, and it is called The Life of a Showgirl. Well, having been to the cinema last weekend to see the release of it with the music videos and her talking about them, I felt inspired to do my own version called The Life of a Showgirl. So here we go, let's have some fun today. First of all, if you would like to listen along to me, here's a QR code and I'll link below to a playlist of the songs that I'm talking about, because obviously I will get into trouble with YouTube if I put them on here. I can't be contacting Taylor Swift's management company and getting copyright. So please go and have a listen to them. You may already be listening, you might have your own opinions, you might be like, what are you talking about, Sam? So, slight aside, I am a Taylor Swift fan now, didn't used to be, rest of my family are, my other half and my stepdaughter, they got me into her. And at the moment, I am having to come up with my top songs from the most recent album. It's fun, it's joyful, we don't need to get deep about it. It's totally cool if it's not for you, but hopefully you will still get something out of this episode, because you don't have to be a Taylor Swift fan to enjoy this episode. Now, one of the songs that is on the album, which is the most recent video out, is called The Fate of Ophelia. If you know anything about Hamlet, Ophelia is mentioned in there. And I listened to the song, I love the video for this, I love the connection to the John Everett painting, and so I thought, what would it be in the life of a sew girl? And it would be the fate of a failed project. And so the failed project would be a project that needed saving, and the fate of Ophelia is all about being saved from the destiny that she experiences in Hamlet. And so it's all about how do I save a failed sewing project? This can come in many guises for me. It can come with putting it in the naughty corner and never thinking about it again until I repurpose the fabric. It might come in the form of having to iron a piece of fabric on the back. Has your trusty overlocker / serger ever eaten a hole in your fabric? It has happened to me many times where a bit of fabric has got caught underneath. So I've taken a bit of spare fabric and ironed it onto the hole and either stitched around it because it's been like here before, or put a label on it, something, or just make a thing out of it. There is the one where I had to do a dramatic rescue where I stitched the neck collar of a top so that the stitching was visible. It was supposed to be a jumper. I was using my wonderful multicoloured threads and it actually looked quite fantastic against the green, so I decided to go with it and do visible seams all the way around. And that's the kind of thing where we can save ourselves from the fate of a failed project. Is just because it's not going the way you originally thought it should doesn't mean that you can't pivot and do something else with it. Now, if you are listening along to the lyrics, I came up with, you saved my sleeve from the fate of the bin. You unpicked the stitches and let me begin. Again and again, so sharp and so true. My dear seam ripper, I owe it to you. How many times like me have you done a sleeve back to front, upside down, inside out? My seam ripper and I have an entire pot with multiple seam rippers in over there. I am saved over and over again by my seam ripper from the fate of a failed project. So let's go on to the next song. Don't fear, I'm not doing all 12 songs in the album. So the next one, this might be my favourite from the album. The album song is called Cancelled, and I love the line that says, I like my friends cancelled with matching scars. And it's talking about how actually, you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what other people think of us. So I was thinking, how would this work as a weary, defiant sewist? You know I love to break the rules. And I was thinking about how it would go with my unfinished projects, my whips, my UFOs, and instead of good things I like my friends cancelled, good things I like my project cancelled. When I have left them for months and months and not finished them. Do you have those projects? There was a whole challenge, I think it was this time last year, called Finish That Whip. I know that some people have kind of come up with, I'm not doing any more sewing until I've finished my UFOs. I took to doing a certain number of, you will see me looking at there because I've got my notes, because there's a lot to hold in my head for this one. I took to doing 2 unfinished projects, then my next project, and so on. That's ground to a halt right now. But it is those ones where you just need a button. You just need to hem it. Now, some of you lovely people out there I know never move on until you've finished what you're on. Which camp are you in? Are you in the completely finish a project or have multiple ones? I'm a multiple book reader, so why I wouldn't be a multiple project sewer, I don't know. So there's a great line in it which says, did you make a joke only a man could? Were you just too smug for your own good? So I'm thinking, did you sew with a fabric that was, that you were a bit over zealous about? Did you go in without a toile? So are you a rebel sewist too? Because I love to know that people are breaking the rules, and a particular shout out to Emma, who goes to my sewing social, because she really had to work hard to not sew buttonholes, even though she knew the top would go over her head. And I encouraged her to be a little rebel, and she did. She just stitched the buttons straight through. Sometimes it's good to be a bit of a positive disruption. So yes, I love to know that my sewing friends out there are being rebels too. So do let me know what's been your mini rebellion. Now, the next song is fighting at the top for me with Cancelled as my favourite, and it is Opalite. And I loved hearing Taylor Swift talk about this song because she said her and her mum love opals, and when she found out that Opalite is the man-made version, just like there can be man-made versions of other gems, she said she loved that concept of how you can make your own happiness and you can make things for you. They don't have to come in from elsewhere, and I thought that was a great explanation for the song. I love some of the lines in it, and I was thinking about fabrics that pretend to be something else. So for example, a cheeky bit of polyester slipping in there feeling like it is a viscose or what looks like a lovely silk might be a blend. So is there ever a time when you've bought a fabric thinking it's one thing and it's something else? Or are you buying a fabric that is disguising itself as something else because actually it's in the better price bracket? I love the look of wool, but I cannot wear wool, so I need versions that probably have things like acrylic in them because they don't make me itch. So that is my opaline, in that I need something pretending to be wool when it's not wool, because if I wear anything, even with a top underneath with wool in it, it will just make me itch. And so I love the line in this song that it says, my mama says it's all right, we're dancing through the lightning strikes. And it's just one of those songs, like, it just fills you with like that, it's going to be, we can do this, we can get through this. Yeah, give it a listen if you need a little. I saw someone say you should have a little dance every morning to get yourself like going, and I like that, and I think this is a great song for that. Also, have you ever been seduced by a fabric when it wasn't what you thought it was? Do tell me. I've definitely had that happen. I've also bought a lovely fabric recently from First of Fabrics, and I asked her what it was, and she was very honest and told me it was polyester, but it feels beautiful. My menopause body might find it not so much, but it felt beautiful, so I was happy to take that. So the next one, of course, is the main named song of the album, which is The Life of a Showgirl, which inspired me to do the life of a sew girl. And in that song you have Taylor and actually Sabrina Carpenter joins, and there's an imaginary character called Kitty who is a showgirl, and Taylor goes to the door to say, "I'd love your life," and she tells her, "It's not what you think it is." Or whoever out there has ever had to correct people on what sewing is really like. It isn't like people really think it is it? We're talking 50% ironing, 20% seam picking. For me, at least 10 to 20% hoovering. How the threads travel from my room to the rest of the house is unbelievable. So, like a showgirl, someone who's dreaming of the spotlight, the glamour, the performance. We're dreaming of the perfect dress, sewn like a Cinderella moment, if you've ever seen Cinderella, where they sew it without any mess and it comes together. But of course, the reality is the sewing room, the staying up late, I cut through my finger with a rotary cutter the other week. I'm not a rotary cutter girl, and I went through my finger. I was like, why did I do that? And then the other finger on the other side, I got a massive jab with a pin. Nobody tells you about those things before you start sewing. There's a wonderful bit where she talks about dancing in the spotlight and all of this sort of thing and longing to be her, and actually she says, look, you're in other people's opinion, other people think about you, and it's a struggle, and really we get people ask us to hem their trousers. We want someone to jump up and down with joy when we've made something, and not everyone else in our life gets it. And the life of a sew girl and a showgirl, I think, is very deeply linked. I love the fact that I think Taylor sews and bakes as well, so she understands that. So what truth do you think that people should know about sewing that you didn't realise before you started? What would mine be? Yes, I think mine would be the truth about how much hoovering there would actually be. I never imagined that. I know there's mess because I've done other creative projects, but the hoovering, the threads get everywhere all of the time. I don't know what happens, honestly. There is the great stuff too, and just like the life of a showgirl, the glitter, the sparkly outfits, got mine on today. There is that too, but there is the behind the scenes things that people perhaps don't realise when we put ourselves under tight time pressure because we want an outfit for a certain occasion and all of those things that we do to ourselves. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Now that's only a few of the songs on the album because I could have gone through all of them actually, telling you all of my thoughts. I would really love to design an outfit inspired by one of the songs because I've been thinking about this. But honestly, right now, the truth is that as a life of a sew girl, I've got a week to finish a dress that I need for Sophisticated. I say need, that I want to do. And here it is. So it is close to being finished, and I will do a whole video about it. But let's get to the reality of being a sew girl. It is close. I have no sleeves at this point. I do have buttons. I have decided to go for panels. I've got belts. It's a free pattern. I'll tell you more about it. But in the next week, I can't be sewing an imaginary dress for an imaginary character in a Taylor Swift album, however much I'd love to, because I want to finish this to get it worn. And then I have 2 jumpers to finish that I'm doing for a pattern test, which I'll be able to tell you about soon. And it's almost the middle of October and I am doing an Advent Swapmas. I'm thinking, I know this sounds crazy, I'm thinking about Vlogmas. I have this gorgeous fabric, which I got from Becky's Sewing, from What Beck Sews. She had a D-stash on Vinted, and it's this gorgeous sweatshirting. It's all fleecy on the back, so I would like to make a jumper with this. I am terrified of having creamy white sleeves, so I think I'm going to do this colour raglan sleeve just because I just know what I'm like. I'm scared enough about having it down the front. And then I have a fabric which has become really popular because it's been available in shops again. I got this last year. Lovely Alison of Sew Like Dotty has just sewn a top up in this, and she very skillfully made sure she got this bit right in the centre. Now, I think Fabric Obsession have got this. I think Beyond the Pink Door might have some left, might not. I bought this last year and I need to sew it up. Alison's done a lovely teal cuff and neckband on it, and Jo, who is one of my members, she did it with lovely purple sleeves. I would really want to get this sewn up, so any suggestions? How much have I got? I think I've got 1.5 meters. It's just glorious. It's almost like it glows like effervescence, doesn't it? So time to get that sewn up, time to wear it. It's the perfect autumnal colours. Honestly, I haven't even made my autumn plans. So I want to do autumn plans with you all as well. And I haven't even put all my summer clothes away. Now, if you want to know what I'm talking about, watch this video here, because I did a big challenge and I really enjoyed doing it, but it means I'm now mid-October and I haven't put all my summer clothes away. That's confusing me. And I've got this fabric that I bought last year as well, which is another brushback French terry, and I don't have quite enough, I don't think, for a jumper, so again might do the sleeves in black or like a yoke or something, so do suggest. I'll be consulting my sweatshirt Excel file that I made last year. If you all remember, these things are in the resources. I did a whole Excel file of what type of sleeve, whether it was satin or raglan, what type of fit it was. I did all of this for loads of sweatshirt patterns. So I want to get these things done. And I've made another LB pullover in a double gauze, just a black one. And I got these gorgeous, she says, looking for them, here it is, bias binding from Specky Seamstress. Look at little skulls. I thought that would be great on the inside of this jumper. They did like some special Halloweeny ones, and I've got my lovely earrings on as well. So yes, the life of a showgirl, unfinished projects, saving projects. I hope you've enjoyed today's fun episode. I just thought it was something fun and different to do, and if you haven't listened, go and have a listen to the playlist, see what you think of my pick of the songs. Tell me your favourite.